The Northeast Texas Sports Network is dedicated on delivering the most entertaining sports broadcasts in East Texas. And if you're interested in having your next sporting event streamed live, visit us online at netsn.live.
And good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Week 1 episode of bEast from the East. It's your boy, Mr. NETSN, Brett Swinney, alongside me tonight. We got Jaron Peoples, Jeremy Diamond, and Mr. Red Zone OT is back. KO Kyle Owens. Good evening, gentlemen. How's it going?
It's football week, baby. We got live football this week.
Yeah, football is back. It is, and for NETSN, that means the Pick'em contest is back, and we're going to talk about it. But first, Kyle, you weren't with us last week. You had the week off, a well-deserved week off. Shout out to KO for the intro clips there. He put those together for us. You'll see those a lot this season on not just here, but on our streams. But Kyle, how excited are you to get back out on the sideline and get some more of those great highlights of East Texas football?
I am pumped up, man. It's gonna be a great season. I feel like I've heard McAfee say this all the time when he talks about the NFL season. He's like, this is gonna be the best NFL season of all time. I think this might be the best high school football season of all time. I think it's gonna be a great year. I'm excited to get it going. I think we're going to have some surprise teams this year, too, that we didn't see coming that are going to make some noise this year, kind of like we had the Woodvilles last year, Grand Saline. I think we're going to have some teams like that. So I'm pumped up to get back on the sideline and hear some pads clacking.
Well, you weren't here last week, but I'm sure you went through the schedule and saw the games that we have. What do you think about that schedule, KO?
It's a beast of a schedule. You talk about beast from the East. That's a beast of a schedule that you put together. But going to have a lot of good games on there, and I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities for teams. I'm excited that we're going to get to see White House all year and kind of follow their story along and kind of see what they got going on, especially in that district they get to play in. But yeah, you got a large schedule up there. It's going to be a lot of good games right here for free on NETSN.
Free. Jaron, you ready to go? Getting this season started?
Hey, ready or not, here it comes, right? And we got starting out. I think we'll talk about this, but I know I've got 3 games this week, back to back, and so
it's triple header for Darren.
Triple header, yeah. So, man, it's gonna be fun. I'm with KO. What I'm really looking at is some of those surprise teams from last year, like you mentioned, KO. Is are they back? You know, some of those, and we've talked about some of them, like Waskom, right? Like last year they kind of took us by storm a little bit. Are they back? New Diana is another one, right? Some of those that kind of, got some attention last year. Woodville, can they do it again? So that's why one of the things I'm most excited about this season.
Jeremy, how you feeling about this week?
Man, I'm pumped. I think I've got 2 games, so I didn't quite get up to the Jaron level of 3, but that might be because maybe he said something, I don't know, on one podcast, maybe got him in trouble and got him 3 games in the week. I don't know. No,
it was already there. It was already there.
No, I'm excited. I'm excited for some great action and just excited to kind of get in on this end of things for the first time full time. And like I said, I've been involved in a lot of the 5-6A stuff for a long time, just with being at the middle school attached to it, the high school here in Tyler. And so it's going to be fun for me to get some more experience at the 4A and below level throughout the year.
Yeah, we got, and Kyle, if you caught this segment, I believe we said 79 different schools this year on NETSN. So
you couldn't have made it 80.
I know. Well, that's regular season, KO.
We still got time.
I'm sure. I'm sure we'll pick up some in the playoffs and going on further. They never know. There might be some more Thursday games that pop up. During the season, a lot of times they shift those games for referee shortages and stuff. So. If one becomes available, and Jaron loves to do games. He'll oh
man,
he's chomping the bits.
Stack it on.
So, all right, you guys, if you may or may not have seen the Pick'ems, I know everyone out there they released on Sunday afternoon, but you guys ready to get started?
Let's do it.
All right,
let's do it.
All right, start from the top. We'll start with Kyle. Might have some interest in this one as we got Hallsville and Lindale over in Hallsville on Thursday night, 7 p.m. I'm going to start with you, KO. What do you think about your Eagles' chances of getting that W on the road there?
I hate trying to gauge a team off a scrimmage. So I was at Lindale scrimmage on Thursday against Athens, and I'll tell you, Athens looked really, really good. Athens, I know we're not talking about Athens in this game in particular, but just want to say Athens looked really, really good on Thursday. But again, it's a scrimmage. I don't know how much stock you can really put into it. but I'm excited. I'm excited for Lindale, and I'm excited for this game. You had Hallsville that both teams made the playoffs last year, but Hallsville made the playoffs in a tough 5A district, and it didn't go well for them in the playoffs. But Lindale, made a couple rounds deep, and then just inconsistent play. Coach Cochran said inconsistent play last year, but this is a good opener for both teams. Lindale gets to go up a classification to face an opponent in the 5A D2 Hallsville. Then Hallsville gets to face a very quality 4A Division I opponent. So I think it's good for both teams. I'm going to pick Lindale, obviously. I'm not going against my Eagles in this one, but I think it'll be last year I think Lindale pulled away early and then Hallsville made it interesting late. I think it's going to be a lot closer this year. I think the teams are more even, so I expect it to be a closer game, but I'm taking Lindale in this one for sure.
All right, Jaron, what do you got?
Yeah, so I'm pretty high on Lindale this year. I've talked earlier where I think there's a good chance they can get second place in that district. So, what?
No, I'm just laughing.
Yeah. So, so I'm gonna go with Lindale. I think it's probably a 1.5 to 2 score game. So.
Okay, Jeremy.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's this is the fun part of the year, right? Where you kind of have to look at okay, you got a 5A Division II and a 4A Division I, and what does that adjustment look like, right? They're not as far apart, you know what I mean? But sometimes you're like, what factors does that play in? And then if you look at it, I think Dave Campbell's has Hallsville projected 5th, Lindale in that 3rd spot. And like you said, we've talked maybe they could be as high as 2. I think Hallsville being at home is going to maybe make it closer. But I think I'm gonna join the ranks of the others and go with Lindale on this one as well.
Well, I'm going to make it a Lindale sweep here, and this game will be broadcast on NETSN. Keith and Conrad will be over in Hallsville for this one, so you're not able to make it out. But I think I'm looking high on Lindale. Also, Chapel Hill scrimmage Hallsville this past week. Talking to Coach McFarland, Chapel Hill put it to them pretty good, and so I don't know if that's just Chapel Hill's that much better. It is a scrimmage, like Kyle said, but they beat a 5A Hallsville team pretty handily. So I think Lindale is on a good, on a similar level to Chapel Hill. I think that's going to be an incredible game. And so I think that as of right now, I'm going to go with Lindale on this one. I think on the road, but I mean, that home field makes a lot of difference. So I could see it, being close, but I think Lindale pulls away going in the 4th quarter. They just kind of pull away with it and win by a score or 2 late. So,
hey, Brett, I'm also excited to see Lindale's defensive front because, Coach Cochran was talking about the front 7 for Lindale, specifically the defensive line. You got Caleb Walker on there that's going to the University of Houston next year. I'm excited to see what that D-line can do against a 5A offensive line that should be a pretty big offensive line. I'm excited to see what the D-line can do for Lindale.
Yeah. All right, game 2. Man, this game 2 is already a juicy one, man.
Why is this second on the list?
Because it's a Thursday. We're going
this together
because we're doing Thursdays first. Thursday game first, and it starts at 7:00 start. I know it's tough.
Anybody got a coin? Who's got a coin I can flip here?
I mean, you got Garrison and Waskom, man. These are both teams that are going to be super talented this year. I'm going to take Waskom in this one, guys, and the main reason I've seen what Waskom can do, I think they're going to have a little more firepower back than Garrison. But man, this could go either way. I mean, this was tough, but I've seen Waskom. It's been a couple of years since I've seen Garrison. They have the one Yarborough back. You have Avery Yarborough back for Garrison. But Waskom, they've got multiple dudes. I'm going to go with Waskom in this one, but I think this one could steal the show for the whole week. I think this could be one of those games. Jaron, you got?
Yeah, so I did this playoff game last year, and obviously it was a great one. I've gone back and forth, and I've got my phone pulled up with my picks, and I think I've switched it 3 times since we started the show. But so I'm going to go with Garrison, and here's why. Waskom's line's going to be pretty young, and that's really one of Garrison's calling cards, how nasty they are, in the trenches, and especially being week 1. I just think that's going to be a tall order for a relatively young offensive or relatively young line for Waskom on both sides, and a lot of those guys will play both ways, on the line at 2A. So, yes, it's a coin flip. Will I be surprised if Waskom wins? Absolutely not. I do think these teams will meet in the playoffs again, like they did last year, pretty deep in. And so, but I am picking Garrison for this game.
This one, I think, we talk about during wrestling matches or wrestling shows how it could be the match of the weekend and could steal the weekend. I think this is a game that could be game of the week and steal the weekend here. I think this game is – I wish I could be at it. If I wasn't already going to be at a game on Thursday night, I would go down to Garrison to watch this football game. But, last year these two teams played in week one, and Garrison won by 1 point, but Waskom won by 4 in the playoffs to advance. So two teams are very evenly matched. You mentioned it, Brett. Only one Yarborough twin back this year. That could be the difference in the game, honestly. As small as that sounds, that could be the difference in this game. But, Jaron, you brought it up, and that's a good point. Garrison plays some tough-nosed football. It's that district. It's that Deep East Texas feel. They just play hard-nosed football in the trenches, and they will ground and pound you to death. And we saw it last year, Brett, with Waskom. They can score in multiple ways. Defense, special teams, offense. They can score without having the ball. Like, it is a phenomenal team that they have down in Waskom. So, yeah, this one's a toss-up for sure. Garrison's at home. They're going to be wanting revenge after that loss last year in the playoffs, but Waskom's going to want revenge for that week one loss a year ago too. This is tough, man.
That was my goal, to make them tough as possible, KO. So maybe I'm doing good so far. I don't know.
I'm taking Waskom. I think it'll be really close, though. I think I could see another 1 point game like it was last year. I think it's going to be a tight ball game. But
it could be, in the 2A level, it could come down to a kick, like an extra point or something missed.
Yeah, it could, or a missed 2 point conversion or something like that. I think it's going to be a phenomenal game. But I'm taking the Wildcats.
All right, Jeremy.
All right. Well, this is the toughest one on the slate, I think, to pick. Not that any of them are easy, but I think this one is just so tight. I mean, they're seemingly ranked right next to each other preseason rankings. I think on Dave Campbell's, I think it's 3-4, 4-3. You could probably argue both ways. I'm going to give the edge to Garrison. I think the home field is going to make the difference in this one. I think neutral side, it may be a different situation, but I think having the home field is going to help Garrison. And I think. And again, both teams are really, really good teams, but I'm going to give the nod to them.
All right. Game 3. This is where Jeremy and I will be Thursday night. We'll be in Palestine for Nacogdoches in Palestine. So, Jeremy, you're getting ready for this one to make your debut on football. What do you think of this game?
Man, this is an interesting one. You got two teams that had struggles last year, right? I think. I think Nac had just 3 wins last year. I think Palestine maybe only had the one. Both of them, I think, only had 1 win in their district. So I mean, it was tough sledding for both. I'm gonna take a run here. I'm gonna go Palestine. Again, I think home field's gonna play big early in the season, maybe not as much late. I mean, again, both teams, they've got a decent amount of returning starters. I think Palestine's young a little bit still, but I think they're going to pull this one out. So there's my hot take. Although I feel like I should have pulled a Kurt Herbstreit and been like, since I'm calling this game, I don't know. But okay. I'm gonna go Palestine.
We're just picking it. We're not rooting for a team. So
that's true. I'm not rooting either way. I think this could go either way, but I'll go Palestine. I'm going to go home.
All right, Jaron, you're chomping the bits to make a pick here. What do you got?
Yeah, so you got two teams that have relatively new coaches. I know, Coach House is in his, third year, I think, and Coach Ray's in his second. And their programs that I think are going to continue to develop under these two coaches. They got them going in a good direction. I think the Dragons are just a half a step ahead of Palestine in their kind of rebuild there. They're returning about the same on both sides, and so I'm gonna go Nacogdoches.
Okay, KO.
I think this will be another good game. I think both teams will be improved off last year. I don't think Palestine goes 1-9. I don't think Nat goes 3-7. Like, I think both teams will be improved this year. I'm going to go – I know Palestine's at home, but kind of what Jaron said, I think NAC is farther along in their rebuilding process than Palestine is right now. And NAC has everybody coming back on defense. Everybody that started last year, the whole 11 are returning. And I think that means something. And this is the same group that held Palestine to 17 points last season. So I'm going to take the Nacogdoches Dragons in this one, but I think it'll be a closer game than last year.
Okay. This is one other coin flip one for me too. I think in this one for me, it's going to be a big step for Coach Ray's and his program and what they're trying to do. We've talked about them making a impact in the district. Maybe not even if they don't make the playoffs, but being an influence in there, like beating somebody that cost somebody a seed. But I think they are going to compete in that district. I think there's a chance they could get in that spot this year. And so, I think it's a home game for them. I think they're going to get the win, but I think it's going to come down to maybe a play or two in the fourth quarter that Palestine makes a play at home and gets the dub for the Wildcats. Game 4, another one that's good, man. This was really tough. There was several I had a list of about 13 that I had to try to pick that I was like, hey, let's see if I can pick the best matchups. And this was one of those. We're moving to Friday now. Is Athens and Henderson. That will be over in Athens. You've got Coach Harrell, an established program over there in Athens. Kyle mentioned they look good in the scrimmage. I have Athens over Henderson in this one, and only because I think Coach Meeks it'll be his first game with Henderson. I think it's going to take a little bit to get in the rhythm for Henderson and get the new schemes and new offense and stuff. I think their game is they're trying to get in that playoffs. So this is just them trying to get there. And so I think Athens is already kind of has an established program right now with Coach Harrell. And so I'm going to go with Athens. What do you got, KO?
This is going to be another good one. I feel like this is the theme of this week 1. I think these are all going to be really good games. I was impressed with Athens, but I just don't know how much stock you can really put into a scrimmage. I mean, I don't know, but I'm impressed with Coach Meeks. I think Coach Meeks is going to do a really good job at Henderson. I like what Coach Harrell has done with Athens. I think they're the second best team in that district behind Carthage. Last year's game was a good one between these two teams, and Athens didn't get the win, but really hung tough there with Henderson. I don't know, man. I want to say Henderson because I think I believe in Coach Meeks, but like you said, I think Henderson may take a couple of weeks to get going and to kind of get things figured out. Athens seems established right now with who they have there and with the coach and all that. And they're at home. I haven't picked the home team yet. I'm going to take the Athens Hornets to beat Henderson.
Okay, Jeremy? You're muted, Jeremy. There you go.
I knew I was muted. I even saw it. I still didn't hit it. That's what happens when you try to get rolling. No, I've got Athens. I think Athens is the team is going to take this game. And again, I think for a couple things you guys have said, I think Henderson's going to be improved, and I think they're going to really hit their stride a couple weeks in. But really, this is the first live thing where you're putting in your scheme and you're seeing what your opponent wants to do. And so sometimes you have those mistakes of just not being in that system a long time. And so I think Athens is going to win this game. I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be another good game. But I've got Athens by a score.
All right, Jaron.
Yeah, so I'm going with Athens here. I'm going to go with 2 scores too. That offense is just going to be really good this year. They're returning 10 of 11, and they already were pretty good last year, and I just think they're going to continue to make those strides. And so I echo what everybody said. Big Coach Meeks fan. So excited that he's there. I think he's going to do great. But it's a tall order week 1, and you're going against an Athens Hornets team that really is just poised to really have a good year. And we've talked about them, I know, when we did our preview show. So, I'm going to go with Athens by 2 scores.
Okay. All right. Game 5. We've got Pine Tree and Gilmer. Man, another good matchup. Well, my biggest question for Pine Tree is, can they replace what they lost? You know, they've always had good depth because of the size of the school, one of the bigger schools in 4A. But Gilmer, man, it's the Gilmer Buckeyes, and I'm not going to go against Gilmer week 1. You know, Coach Metzel's going to have those guys ready to go. They got the big, is it the D tackles from Germany, right? It's clogging up the entire middle.
OT and DT. He plays both.
He plays both. Okay, well, I'm going to ride with – you got the big uglies up front. I'm going with them. They've got one of the best around. So I'm going to go with Gilmer in this one to take out Pine Tree. You got Jeremy, go for it.
Yeah, I've got Gilmer winning it too. I think just having seen over the years, and again, you know, some of the Gilmer staff came over at one point to Legacy, and just to see the way that their philosophy works, and you know, so unique there in Gilmer, it didn't quite get the traction here. I think just because of the size of Tyler, but man, those kids, they start out early, right? Gilmer Buckeyes, they're doing the stretch routine in PE, right? They've got this, like, it's just the whole community is kind of on this Gilmer train, and not that it doesn't happen other places, but it just seems so unique. They've had success with it, and again, Coach Metzel's a great coach. I think Pine Tree's going to be a good team. Again, I think this game's going to be a good game, but I've got Gilmer as well.
Aaron?
Yeah, so, you know, this was one of those games last week that kind of caught everybody's attention, right? When Gilmer lost that game to Pine Tree in a 1-score game. You know, got to see Gilmer at the scrimmage the other day against White House. And like you said, KO, you never know with scrimmages. You don't even know who half the people are because they're wearing different numbers and stuff like that. But they do have a dog at running back, dude. They had this kid. I mean, he was like, dude, like 15 bowling balls. Dude could run so well. So I don't know. I'm going to go with Gilmer. I think it's going to be a good game. Probably a 1.5 score, 10-point game. So,
KO?
Yeah, Pine Tree got Gilmer last year, and really Pine Tree was one of those surprise teams that we were talking about. They really made some noise early on and kind of faltered a little bit in district play. But I think it's going to be another good one. But I can't see Gilmer losing twice in a row, 2 years in a row to Pine Tree like that.
You think they remember last year, KO?
I think Coach Metzel has plastered that score all around campus, getting ready for this game. So, and like you said, like Pine Tree lost a lot, and they lost a lot of key players. So I need to see what Coach Bachman and the Pirates can do on the field, and maybe they come out in week 1 and beat Gilmer again, and we're having a different conversation next week about the Pirates. But until I see it happen, I'm going to go with the history here, and I'm going to take the Gilmer Buckeyes to win this one.
All right. Game 6, Troup and Shelbyville. That game will be streamed live on NETSN. Troup will be traveling down to Shelbyville Dragons. Larry will be on the call for that one. Man, another good matchup of two teams that have been very successful over the past several years. I got to see Troup in the scrimmage the other night, and they were impressive to me. I mean, it was a very physical. Jeremy can probably agree with me. It was a very physical scrimmage. All three, Alto, Troup, and Brook Hill, all really physical up front. I mean, there was a lot of people going at it there. Even some, at the end of the play, they were having to, separate them a little bit. But very physical, aggressive game. You've got Coach Wells' son in the backfield, and he's got some good-looking receivers outside for Troup as well. So I think they're going to be pretty balanced. They have Wells at tailback, but also the receivers outside. You got Shelbyville losing DJ Barnes. That's a dynamic player. It's just one guy. They have a lot coming back, but Troup was very big up front. And I'm gonna take the Tigers. I think Troup's poised to have a good season. I was impressed by what I saw in the scrimmage, and so I'm gonna go with Troup to get the win. Jaron, what you got?
Yeah, I mean, so this was probably one of the next to the Waskom Garrison one, probably one of the harder ones for me to pick, because I do think Troup's going to have a really good season, particularly in their district. But bEast Texas is a hard place to play. It's not an easy road trip. Once you get down there in Shelby County, things just get weird. And so not in a bad way. I mean, they just play a different brand of football. We said it earlier. And so we talked about how obviously you're replacing just a heck of a talent in DJ Barnes, but I'm gonna go with Shelbyville. Yeah, I think the home field advantage is gonna be a big deal, and so I'm gonna go with Shelbyville.
Okay, KO.
I'm going with Troup because I'm kind of going off what I've heard from all y'all. Like y'all saw Troup. There's been a ton of hype around Troup this season. Like a ton of hype around Troup, talking about this is their year. They could make a deep run. I need to see it, and it starts week 1. So I'm going to take the Troup Tigers in week 1. I think the loss of DJ Barnes for Shelbyville is a significant loss for that team. I think they were very DJ Barnes heavy last year, and that's not to take away from anything that the other players did on that team. It's just it's the Terry Bussey effect at Timpson. Like when you lose a player of that caliber, you're going to look different. And so I think Troup's kind of ascending this season where Shelbyville may be down a little bit after losing DJ. So I'm going to take Troup.
Jeremy?
Yeah, I mean, you talked about it. We saw him at the scrimmage. It was a physical game. I was really impressed by one of their defensive linemen, number 50. I felt like every time we looked up, he was in the backfield wreaking havoc. I think their defense is better than I thought it was going to be, even. And I know they were going to be a good defense coming in, but I was impressed by the way that they were consistent. They were pretty good at stopping the run, even against the Brook Hill team who's got a pretty good tailback. And I felt like the Troup line gave Brook Hill's offensive line some trouble, and Brook Hill's got a couple of dogs, on that line. And I think they gave them – I mean, they both gave it to each other. Let's not get it wrong. But I felt like that was a good matchup. And so I think this Troup team is just they're kind of hitting I think they're going to kind of hit their peak this year in a lot of ways. I think they're in a good spot. And I'm going to give Troup the win on this one. And I think it's going to be a close game again because I think Shelbyville's a good team, and they've got the home game. But I think Troup pulls this one out.
All right. Game 7. Joaquin and Frankston. Kaya, what do you think about this one? Joaquin and Frankston matchup.
This one's kind of a tough one for me too. Joaquin, again, a surprise team last year, making it to the state semifinals as a 4 seed out of that district. A very impressive team last year, and they are very big up front and physical, just like a DP Texas team would be. Frankston, though, they were very good last year too, and they got some good size for a 2A squad. I just think Joaquin's defense is better than Frankston's defense. Now, if you look at last year's game, these two teams combined for over 100 points. So defense was kind of optional in last year's game. So, but even at that, I think Joaquin overall, I think they have something to prove off what they did last year, kind of proving that last year wasn't a fluke. And you come out here in week 1 and you beat a very good Frankston team, then I think that can kind of silence some critics. So I'll take the Joaquin Rams to beat Frankston.
All right. Jeremy, who you got?
Yeah, I kind of started the run. I was looking back at my picks. I kind of went home heavy early, and I've kind of flipped late here, but I think Joaquin gets the win here. I think they're a tough team, right? They play physical, they play hard. I mean, they're a team that kind of embodies their mascot, right? Like you think of that ram, like just they're going to knock you. You know what I mean? You're going to feel it every time you get hit. And again, not to take anything away from Frankston, but I just think I think Joaquin, they showed last year what they're capable of. And I think the goal for them would be to get started on that same foot to begin this year. And so I'm going to go Rams over Indians on that one.
Jared?
Yeah, I think, and you look at, Frankston's returning just a little bit more than Joaquin, but who Joaquin's returning are just some dogs. Cooper Bragg, you got the Cummings guys on the line. That tight end they have, I forgot his name. Rios, yeah. They're just a talented squad, and I think through that playoff run, they learned even more about themselves, right? And they really solidified. And they're not catching anybody off guard this year, perhaps like they did maybe to a little bit last year, like Coach Jones. I'm going to go with Joaquin.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go with you guys. I'm with Joaquin too. I got to call several games on that run last year and was very impressed. I mean, you said, Jaron, you got Cooper Bragg there. You've got those big linemen up front, and they growing big in Joaquin. They got some big boys, and they're gonna enforce their will and run, and they play good defense. And we all have talked about that numerous times. If you can run the ball, play good defense, I think you would be successful. I think for Frankston, the key is to not get behind. Frankston needs to get out in this game and get a good start, because you can ask Shelbyville, if you get behind to Joaquin and you're trying to come back from behind and you have to change the way you want to play, it does not work well for you. So if Frankston can get off to a good start in this game, I think they can make it competitive there early, and I think they could be in the game late. But if Joaquin gets in, they run, they score, and they force a punt or a turnover and they score, if they get up in this game and they're able to just run their offense, I think it could be a long night for Frankston. So I'm going to go with Joaquin.
To your point too, Brett, that's the thing. If Joaquin gets a lead, it's almost game over. Like the type of offense that they run, 3 yards on a cloud of dust every time. Like if they just get a lead, it's a problem. So yeah, it's going to be key for Frankston to get up early in that game and force Joaquin to play from behind and play catch up. Because if Frankston's trying to do it, I think Joaquin, no pun intended, I think Joaquin's got more horses in their or more Rams, if you will, more Hemis in their Rams to get them past the line.
Yeah, and here's the deal. I think Joaquin's defense is going to be better than it was last year, particularly in week 1 last year. But with the type of offense that they run, they can control the clock so well, right? I mean, so it just takes a stop or two on their part, scoring, which they can do, obviously, and then just controlling the clock. And I don't think we're going to see a 100 combined score, plus 100 plus combined score game. I think it's going to be more like probably in the 40 to 50 combined score, 30-20-ish type deal. But I do think, like I said, I think Joaquin's going to win. But I just think that because their defense is going to take even a step above what it was last year.
All right, game 8, Marshall and Tyler High. A nice little old school district rivalry match. No longer a district game, but this one's a tough one for me too, because I want to say that Tyler High is going to be there, but we talked about in the preseason, they just haven't been able to get those games. This is a game, Tyler High, right now. If you can go out and win this game, show me something. But Marshall, man, I can't go against Marshall right now. I think they're a solid second team in their district going into the season. I think that's where everyone's got them, and I think Marshall takes care of business and knocks off Tyler High in week 1. What do you think about that, Jeremy? You're over the Tyler area. What do you think about Tyler High?
Yeah. I actually have a young man I've been mentoring since he was in about 7th grade that plays offensive line for the Lions, and so I hope he's not listening. I think Marshall gets this one, and not to take anything from Tyler High, but I think Marshall's got the pieces this year. Like you said, I think they're going to finish second in their district. And I think they've kind of been a team that seems like they've had the pieces for a few years and haven't quite put it together. And I think maybe this is the year where they kind of get their feet underneath them a little bit more and kind of make that run that we've thought, at different times in different years, they maybe had a chance to make that run. And so I think Marshall's going to take this one. And again, I think it's going to be a good game. It's going to be, a home game. So, you can't put nothing by those Lions fans. They are fired up, and that's going to be an advantage for Tyler High for sure. But I think the issue here is going to be turnovers. Can Tyler High protect the ball? That was kind of a weakness they had a little bit at times last year in crucial moments. They just didn't. They either couldn't convert the 4th down, or they had a critical turnover, and so I think Marshall wins this one.
All right, Jaron, what you got?
Yeah, so. I really like what Coach Hammett's doing with the Mavericks. They did lose some valuable skill positions, some guys that raked up a lot of yards. I am going to pick the Mavericks, though. I don't think it's going to be a 30-point game like it was last year. I think it's going to go down to just a couple scores at the most, because we do feel like Tyler is on the upswing. So, and it being week one, Marshall's having to replace a lot of production, right? But from what they had last year. But I do think the Mavericks will win. I just think it's going to be a little bit tighter of a game than it was last year.
KO?
Yeah, I wanna say Tyler High because I want Tyler High to be back. I want Cujo to be back, but I don't think they're there yet. I think they're trending in the right direction. I just don't think they're there yet. I'm with Jaron. I don't think it'll be a 41-14 game. I don't see that happening again, but I do think Marshall wins it, probably by a touchdown or two, I think. But I think it's a lot closer this year. Marshall does have to – they lost 2 1,000-yard rushers. Like, that is a ton that they have to replace. But they still got their quarterback coming back. And we talked about it a couple weeks ago on the podcast. You got your quarterback coming back. That is huge. And so – you can lose a lot of pieces around you, but if you got your man back, then you have an advantage. So I think Marshall wins, but I think it's a lot closer than it was last year.
And especially with Marshall, I mean, because they always seem to have good skill positions, right? Like they've got a pretty good talent pool over there, and so you're right. Like, and I said it, replacing that production's tough, but man, they always seem to have a pretty good bench, and I think.
And here's the thing. Tyler High's got some GoDaddies on offense, right? McMiller's a stud. Like, we played against him in middle school. We couldn't tackle that guy in a phone booth. He was all over the place, right? They've got Harrelson. Like, I think they have the offensive weapons. I think my concern is defense, And again, Granberry's he's a good quarterback. He does have the occasional time where he maybe trusts his skill or his skill guy's skill a little too much, right? He might force a window. But the defense, I think, is going to have to be really steps up for Tyler High to make this a good game. That was something they struggled a little bit with last year too, was they would score and then they would turn around and give up a big play. And it was like they just couldn't get momentum at times in some of those games they played last year.
All right. Game at number 9. Lufkin versus Longview. That's all you got to say there, fellas. Lufkin, Longview. It's always a great one. Last year it was a sloppy rain and fest there with a lot of drama. I believe Longview scored right at the end. I believe, didn't they, Kyle, to take that one? You were there?
The end. I was not there, but it was the end of the first quarter. They scored on a fumble so offense didn't even score. They picked up a fumble and scored at the very end of the first half, I should say, and that was it. That was the difference.
I mean, this game, this one was tough. I'm going to go with Coach King and what he's established there at Longview. So I'm going with Longview. Lufkin with a new coach for the first time in, 30 years? It's been a while. And so week one's a tough one to get the Longview Lobos week one and expect to come out and get one. So it's in Longview. I'm going to take Longview in week one to get the win over Lufkin. Who you got, Kyle?
So this is our Red Zone game of the week. I'll be there Friday night at Lobo Stadium. Gonna get some Lobo popcorn from the press box.
That's what I meant, Kyle. You were gonna be there this year. I think that's what I was thinking because we had already talked about that.
Yeah, I was also there 2 years ago when Lufkin came to Longview and Longview drummed them. I thought it was the Taylor Tatum versus Kedron Young battle of the running backs, and it was no battle. It was 50-0. Longview destroyed Lufkin in that game. Now, 2 completely different teams this year is going into it. I think it's going to be a really good game, man. I really like I think Coach Absek coming over from Barbers Hill, he's familiar with Longview. They may not have played, but Coach King is familiar with Coach Absek as well. And Coach King made the comment the other day when I was talking to him. He said this will be the first time since he's been there in 2000 that there's not a coach on the opposite sideline for Lufkin that has a John Outlaw connection. So, like, whether it was Coach Outlaw or Coach Todd Quick that had the connection with John Outlaw. But Absek doesn't have a connection with that. So it's going to be the first time in 25 years that there's not an Outlaw connection in this game. So that's something to keep an eye on, too, because what Lufkin did last year may be slightly different this year. And you remember they didn't have their quarterback for majority of the season last year. He got hurt in the Tyler game, I believe, week 3 or so. So they didn't have him all year. So Quincy Coutee had to play quarterback, and they still made it to the second round. So, like, in one district. So I think this is going to be a really good game. I'm unsure of what Longview has. I don't know You know, they have the dual quarterbacks that's going on. I know they have some solid pieces coming back, but they lost Boosie Washington, 4 of their 5 offensive linemen, and 3 all-state linebackers. They lost a ton of production from Longview, but it is the Lobos. They always just reload. They don't rebuild. They just reload. So this was kind of a toss-up for me. I could honestly see it going either way. I could see Lufkin coming in there and getting a big week 1 victory. I could see Longview getting a week 1 win in Coach Absek's debut. But I don't know, man. This one's tough to toss up. Since they're at home, I'm going to take the Lobos. But I think it's a 1-score game. I think it's a really tight game. So I'm taking Longview.
All right, Jeremy?
I'm going with the Lobos, man. I've seen them way too many times over the years. I have nightmares about that train horn going off for as many times as they've scored over the years. Somehow, when I was there, I always ended up in the end zone filming right next to the train horn, and I knew it was coming. You know it's coming, and it still makes you jump every single time, right? And I just feel like that night's going to be train horn after train horn after train horn. I just have a weird feeling about it. I think it's the combination of new coach. The atmosphere is going to be raucous. Coach King has just built an incredible culture over there at Longview. I have a feeling not too long after he leaves, it's not going to be Lobo Stadium. I think it's going to be, or it may be Lobo Stadium, John King Field, right? Like that's the impact he had at that program. And man, I mean, I can't pick against him. I did it one time and I learned my lesson. I'm not going to do it. I'll take an L if that's the case, but I will pick with the Longview Lobos until they prove to me I can't trust them. So,
hey,
right.
real quick, that train horn in the intro video, the Boosie Washington run at the very end. You see me jump because I accidentally stood in front of the train horn, and as I was recording him, I didn't know I was in front of the train horn, and I jumped. It scared me so much.
That makes a lot of sense now, Cop. I almost wanted to think that you got ran over by a football player.
Just the train horn, the Lobo train horn, right behind me. So
I'm telling you,
I make a conscious effort now at every Longview game, find that horn and get away from it.
Okay, all right. Well, that's good.
It's obnoxious and wonderful at the same time, right? It depends on what side of the ball you're on. But
Jaron, you like teams in green. Do you like the Lobos? You got your green shirt on.
So we're talking about how much the Lobos are losing, and they or lost, and they got a lot to replace. But like as KO said, they don't rebuild, they reload. But Lufkin lost quite a bit too. I mean, they're just returning 5 on both sides of the ball, and so to just echo and sound like a broken record, it's just a tough environment to go play. And again, it's week 1. I mean, crazy things happen week 1, but I was trying to push the button for Lufkin. It just wouldn't work. So
it's broken.
It's broken. So I have to go with the Lobos.
Hey, I know you were saying Lufkin lost a lot too, but again, they're getting their quarterback back that missed pretty much all of last year in Javian Johnson. And then they still got Kenneth Waters at running back, who had a phenomenal year last year. So, yes, they have to replace pieces, but I think they have key positions coming back, whereas Longview doesn't as much. But again, it's Longview. They had a freshman on varsity for the first time in 20 years last year, so they're going to be fine.
And it's the line that gets me is like, because they lost some valuable line pieces, but man, they're bringing
4 of
back
the 5
some hosses. Yeah, but they've got some hosses coming in, so they're just, again, that line plays a different brand of football, the Lobo line does. And so I just couldn't go against them. So yeah.
I'll get that app button checked out, Jaron.
Put in that help ticket for me.
Game 10, the Battle of the Red Dogs, Carthage Bulldogs and the Kilgore Bulldogs. Another one, just we've said it numerous times, but this games are tough. Week 1, we've got some really big ones here, but it's not really much bigger, at least around in that Kilgore Carthage area. But these games, I think, Kyle, this was your game of the week last year, right? This is where you were last year, so you got to see this in person. Man, tell us what you're going to do here, KO, because this is a tough one. You got your red zone shirt, which will match both teams if you were there. I mean, what do you do in this one? Do you flip a coin?
Well, here's the message I want to get across. Does not matter how you start the season. If Carthage lost game 1 last year, won a state championship. So for all football fans, if your team loses in week 1, it is not the end of the world because Carthage just proved. Doesn't matter what you do in week 1, matters what you do in week 16. I had to think about it there for a second, how many games we had. Anyway, this one, I think I'm really high on Kilgore. I said it a couple weeks back. Kilgore is my pick to win the 4A D1 state championship, and I'm sticking to that. Problem is, Carthage is my pick to win the 4A D2 state championship.
So what you're telling us, KO, this is the 4A state championship in week 1. If you were combining the classifications or the division.
Yes, okay. I think so. And the big deal last year was Jet Surratt was intercepted 3 or 4 times in that game last year. And again, we go back to these week 1 games a year ago, sloppy conditions. It was wet, rainy. But again, Kilgore played with the same football that Carthage did, right? So they were still able to win. But you had Jaden Sanders back there for Kilgore that picked off a pass. He's at Michigan now, so he's not there. But you have pretty much everybody that was key on that Kilgore team coming back this year with the quarterback, Kason Brooks. You got Isaiah Waters in the backfield, Ja'Kalen Sheffield. I always go blank on this kid's name, but he hurdled over me. It'll come to me in a second. But anyway, you have all those people coming back. So you have studs coming back. The problem is Carthage has all those same people coming back. Jet Surratt, KJ Edwards, DeQuivis Beck, Carson Crawford. You got all these people coming back. And they lost last year to snap a streak of however many years since they had lost a regular season game. They're not doing that 2 years in a row. I'm not picking against the Carthage Bulldogs. Jet Surratt won't throw 4 picks this year. And it should not, knock on wood, be rainy conditions on Friday night.
Do you have the weather report there?
Listen, last I looked, it was a 30% chance. So I don't think it's going to rain. But I'm taking Carthage because I just can't see them losing 2 years in a row in week 1. Like, they didn't do it for so many years. I don't see it happening twice. Although, if there's a team to do it, Kilgore would be the team to do it. But I'm taking Carthage.
All right. Well, so we're going to send it to our Carthage insider next. Perrin Jeeples over there. You got some insight for us on this matchup.
So, man, this is tough. And
is it really tough though? Because your face is turning red. Like, is this tough for you?
It is. And I'm gonna take some flack. This could be something really bad here.
Is this Chapel Hill Part 2?
He's gonna pick who?
Maybe we should. You're talking about like
we should bleep it out so that way no one knows who you really picked here. Maybe we should do that.
Again, I'm trying to go for a pick'em championship here. All right. Last year I voted with my heart way too much. All right. And this year I'm playing a different game. I'm going for blood. All right.
Here we go. Oh, whoa.
So I'm going with Kilgore. I am. Carthage is my pick to win state.
Wait. I got a phone call. Hey, this Darren guy's calling me right now.
Yeah. And we were already talking on the. And I even tried to call him earlier just to give him a heads up of what I was going to do.
Oh, no. He's excluded from family dinner.
Yeah, poor guy. Carson dropped drastically because they think it's him.
So now, Jaron, his hit list is starting to grow. We got anybody in Chapel Hill. We've got anybody in Carthage now that knows his brother. I mean, you're grading a pretty good sized list there, Jaron.
But here's the deal. Again, it's week 1, and both teams have returned a lot, like you said. I just, that's just all I'm going to say. I just think it's going to be, I think it's going to be Kilgore.
Jeremy?
Quest for the Big Toe Ring commences week 1. Carthage wins this game. They get some retribution from last year. Scott Surratt's going to walk away with more rings than fingers, and so they're going to have to fashion one to fit on his big toe. By the time it's all said and done, he might have, I don't know, he could stay as long as he wants and get 1 million of them, right? But I think Carthage wins this one in some payback. Again, I don't think Surratt has the game that he had last year. And again, both teams have some studs. I love Edwards at running back. Dude, if I had a kid like that, you give him the ball all day, every day, and on Sunday, right? I think that they're going to want to do what they've done. They're going to want to get off on a good foot and kind of avenge that loss from last year. So Carthage for me in a Bulldog showdown.
All right. Yeah, this, as tough as this game is, there's a few things you don't do. And one thing is pick against the Carthage Bulldogs. I mean, you don't do it. I mean, it's almost, Kyle, it's almost as bad as not picking Chapel Hill in the top 10 of your poll.
Listen, death, taxes, picking the Carthage Bulldogs. That's what you do. That's life rules.
And they're my pick to win state again. And I will probably be there again to watch them do that. Like,
you won't. Not on the sideline.
I wasn't on the sideline last year.
Your ticket just got revoked.
He's going to be in a paper sack on the other side.
I still have to go Bulldog sack.
So here's the deal. Carthage is going to have. It's going to be a great week in Carthage. Everybody's going to be pumped. They're watching the documentary coming out this Thursday. If you haven't seen it, it's going to be premiering Thursday. A Neptune game time doing that. I'm excited to see that. They're going to be all pumped up seeing that, Scott Surratt documentary. I mean, they're going to be coming to Kilgore just licking their chops. I mean, Carthage is going to get this game. I mean, I think it'll be a great game. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to pick Carthage, though. Again, they Kilgore
will not lose another game this year. They will not lose another game this year.
They let Kilgore come into their house last year and embarrass them. No, that game, they've been wanting this game for 365 days. They're coming in and getting that win in week 1. And I don't want to see Carthage across the sideline for me. If I'm a team this year, I don't want to see them. I hope they get knocked out. Not me, but everybody else is hoping they get knocked out.
Well, your Bulldogs will get to see them in a couple of weeks. So.
They will, and it's going to be tough. We'll see where Chapel Hill is after the first couple of weeks. So, but yeah, it's I wouldn't want to be their team that has to scheme against them. That's for sure. So I'm going with Carthage as well. And man, just going down through these pick'ems, guys. There's still some other great games out there that we haven't. They couldn't all fit in the pick'ems. We'd be picking all day if we had to fit them all in. But let's go over for you, Jaron. You're going to be in Winsboro on Thursday night. Tell us a little bit of what you think about the Tatum-Winsboro game, the matchup.
Yeah, that's going to be a good week 1 game. Y'all know I love me some Tatum Eagles. I'm really excited to see the Raiders in person. Got to do one of their playoff games last year. And Nolie Carroll, Cape Hart. I mean, they've just got studs around the whole field, and they got a nasty defense too. So, that's not one of our pick'ems. I am picking Winsboro to win that game though. But it's gonna be a fun one to be. I'm never broadcasted from the football stadium at Winsboro. I've done the baseball, but yeah. So I'm excited for that game. Yeah, it'll be a good one.
Jeremy, what about Tyler Legacy and Texas High at Rose Stadium? I know you're over there on campus. What's the feel around campus and you got a team like Texas High coming to town?
Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing, the hard thing is not knowing what's going to happen at quarterback, right? I mean, I think we've talked about it, an unfortunate injury for what was to be a senior starter in Davis. And so you're going to bring in a young guy. One of the kids that was a quarterback the last couple of years, Vaughn Lane, has switched over to tight end. I think that's going to be a great switch for him. He's a pretty physical kid. I think he's excited about the opportunity to knock somebody versus just getting knocked. But that's going to bring a young guy in at quarterback. And you just never know, right? Young guys, maybe they're not afraid because they don't know to be afraid. And sometimes the inexperience costs you because they're young, right? And so and then it's going to be a really, really good Texas High team. So I think Texas High gets this win. I think Legacy's they're going to play better than they played last year, but I think they're just their schedule is just tough. They're going to have a hard time stacking wins just because it's a gauntlet. Their district's a gauntlet for them. I mean, there's not many easy, if any, easy games, and I think they're going to try to play spoiler this year. I think is the big thing. And again, I think they've got great prospects. I mean, DJ Big Juice. committing to A&M as a stud at tackle. They've got skill guys. I don't know. And again, I think the culture is definitely changing. I think it's moving in the right direction. I think they're probably still another year away from really being a competitive team in that field of just such big school, and what they bring.
Kyle, is there a game that sticks out to you?
I'm going to be in Winsboro Thursday with Jaron, so I'll see y'all there. I think that I'm with you, Jaron. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think Winsboro – I'm excited to see Winsboro's offense get back out there and see if they can pick up where they left off from last year. But something else I'm interested in is just seeing what the new coaches can do. You talk about Coach Lewis over at Gladewater. He plays Thursday night against Dangerfield. You got Monty Stevenson over at Jacksonville. He gets to take on center in his first game. Just some new coaches at new places that I'm interested to see how they can do, and just see kind of what Woodville, another one with a new head coach, seeing what they can do in week one. I'm interested to see these new coaches, how they perform in their first week, and kind of see what these teams are going to look like. But yeah, there's so many. You put 10 games on there, which I know that's all we could put on there, but you could have easily had probably 15 to 17 games of pick'ems and would have all been good choices. So I think we're in for an exciting week. I hope the weather holds off. I sent it in the chat. 55% chance of rain now on Friday in Kilgore.
You jinxed it, Kyle. You said there's not going to be any rain involved this year.
Well, listen, I don't control the weather, despite what people may think. News stations do not control the weather, but I'm excited to see the new coaches in these places, and I'm really just excited to get football season back underway. We got we saw some college action on Saturday. We were talking about Marshall earlier, former Marshall Maverick Lyric Rawls, who played 4 seasons at Oklahoma State. He's now at Kansas. He got a pick on Saturday. Willie Nelson, former Longview Lobo, had a pick 6 for TJC on Saturday. So local East Texas athletes showing out at the next level, and I'm excited to see in this season kind of the next crop of talent that'll be going to the collegiate level. So excited to see them in their high school years.
Well, we got a nice slate of games on NETSN, and we kind of go over a few of those here. We talked about Jaron's and also mine and Jeremy on Thursday. So actually, all the Thursday ones we did talk about. Let's see. Friday, Brook Hill and Redwater. Jaron, you're going to be heading up with the Brook Hill guys to see what Brook Hill looks like in week 1, and I'm excited because I got to see him, and you have too a little bit. What do you think about Brook Hill's chances up there at Redwater?
Man, I'm excited to just see that offensive line in true game action. Like, obviously saw him at in the scrimmage, but man, that line was nasty, and those guys, as boarding students they have, came in from Canada, and they just got some solid guys, some solid pieces, and Rao, man, I was really just impressed with him in the scrimmage, and just as a sophomore, the composure he has. I don't know if y'all saw the same thing at the scrimmage the other night, Jeremy, but yeah, I think they'll win that game, just fine. But I'm just excited to see him in true game fashion.
Yeah, I think the big thing for them is Ryle, right? He's coming in for a guy that was a senior, and so I think there's just and again, he's got a relationship. Obviously, his dad's the coach. That's big. The quarterback coach there's a stud, a good dude. I worked with him when he was at Legacy. He came over and worked with our quarterbacks quite a bit. Anyway, I think Brook Hill's going to do well. I think their offensive line was like you said, they're nasty in the best way, right? Like, they play hard, they're physical, they're going to wear you out. I think that's going to be a great game. Like you said, I think they take the win there too.
I'm excited for Brook Hill to see what Coach Hubbard does in the broadcast booth. That's what I'm excited about the Brook Hill. Not even on the field. I'm excited for the commentary.
Dude's a legend. Dude's a legend in all things. He cut his teeth broadcasting. So he's just getting back in the saddle.
Yeah, I can tell, like, just by being with him last week and talking to him a little bit in the preseason, he's pumped. Like, it's a lot less stress on him. He gets to kind of sit back and gets to highlight athletes and, gets to highlight athletes in the area. So I think he's, because he's done the playoff stuff for us. Yeah. And it was just a little bit, but he's excited. I can tell, and got Chad Grubbs with him. They're going to do a great
Grubbs,
job.
yeah, Grubbs used to coach there with him, and Grubbs has coached at a lot of spots. He's coached at Elysian Fields. He's coached at Chapel Hill. He's coached all over the place. And so just getting to be with those guys in that scrimmage, that's a lot of knowledge in that room, in that booth. So, and we can say that about a lot of our broadcast teams, but they're going to do a great job. And I'm with you, KO. I think it's going to be cool to see them as the season progresses.
A Thursday game we didn't talk about will be where Larry will be, San Augustine and Beckville, which could be an interesting game. We've talked about San Augustine's in that tough district with the likes of Timpson and Shelbyville and Joaquin and Garrison, and they're that fifth team kind of hoping to steal a bid from somebody, and then a Beckville team, which is in a district that we kind of think they're the team right behind Waskom there in Big Sandy's district. So what do you guys think about that matchup? That should be a pretty good one on Thursday night.
Yeah, and I think Coach Barnes, and I think it's Barnes, right? And St. Augustine, he's doing a good job. I just think that Beckville, they're just a tough team, and they're in that district that's just a log jam, right? And so
St. Augustine's probably got one of the tougher schedules around. I mean, you throw Beckville in there with the teams they're going to have to play in district. I mean, that's pretty tough.
I think it's going to be a good game. I'm excited to catch that one. I thought it was on Saturday, but good to know that it's on Thursday. But yeah, I think it's going to be a good game. I know St. Augustine is improving, and shout out Coach Barnes. I know he watches the show, so shout out Coach Barnes. But I think Beckville's further along than St. Augustine is right now. I think St. Augustine, like I said, is improving, but I don't know if they're to the Beckville level just yet. But it'll be a good test to see where the Wolves are at in week one for sure.
Yeah, I think Beckville is going to win this game. I think St. Augustine is going to put up a really good fight. I think it's going to be a competitive game, but I would say Beckville by 10 is going to be my guess. So
there was one game that I kind of wanted to put in the pick'em, but I wasn't sure how. Hope it's competitive. It's a game we're doing on NETSN. Is the Carlisle Mount Enterprise game. Got a lot of intrigue there. Coach Baker in his first game back at Carlisle going up against a really good Mount Enterprise team. Darren, I see you're chomping the bits there. What do you think about that?
Yeah, just because I've been reading more and more, and I love me some Carlisle Indians for sure, but just reading more and more about this Mount Enterprise team, man, I think they are the real deal. Like, they're going to be solid, and I think it's very possible that they make a good run. I think it'll be a competitive game, and I think Carlisle's going to definitely have a better year than last year, and I think they're going to do really well. Keegan Ash and company, I just think it's going to be I'm just really high on Mount Enterprise this year, and I've just been reading some stuff the last few days and just seeing what they're returning, and yeah, I just think they're going to have a really good year. So
they got their whole team coming back.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. Like their coaching staff. I think they're going to sneak up on some guys and punch them in the mouth a little bit. And yeah, I really do.
Jeremy, you're going to be over there with Keith for that one in Carlisle. What do you think about this matchup?
Yeah, I think and Keegan Ash, I think he's getting close to 7,000 yards and 100 touchdowns, right? I think that's going to be within reach this year if he stays healthy. And then the second running back, right, is no slouch, right? I mean, for them, it's feed the rock, right? You're going to feed those guys the rock. I think the big test is going to be Carlisle. Can they get off to a good start? We watched them in the scrimmage. They did really well, but they did give up a couple of big plays, right? Their defense looked really, really solid, but it looked like when the front line broke, it broke badly, right? I think their front seven is pretty strong. They had some issues with pursuit a little bit in that scrimmage that we went to. So I think that's going to be the key is can they slow down this vaunted rushing attack at Mount Enterprise, because they can go. And they don't want to throw. Like, they're the team that's like, this is what you're going to get, right? Like, they're one of those cool teams that says, this is what we're going to do. We're going to run it down your throat, and you have to stop us. Good luck. Let us know after the game how it went. You know what I mean? Like, they're not trying to trick you. They're not going to try to sneak something out. They can throw the ball, but they're going to want to run it, and they're going to want to control the clock and control the ball.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a good game. I think I'm excited for Coach Baker at coming back to Carlisle. But yeah, when you got pretty much your whole squad returning, including Keegan Ash, who is one of, if not the best running back in the state, like that's a big deal. And I know I talk a lot about having your quarterback back, but if you have a running back coming back that is that dynamic, that is a huge piece of the puzzle. So I'm excited to see what Keegan and the Mount Enterprise team can do.
And that's not even what he's playing in college, right? And he playing like linebacker in college, right? Like
I think so. I think he's playing linebacker at Tech.
Yeah. But
crazy.
And I wish, man, and it's not on our schedule, but that Mount Enterprise Grapeland game later in October, I think that's going to be a burner. Like I think that's going to be just probably one of the better games in this side of the state in mid-October.
Well, and I think it's a good matchup for both because they're both returning a lot. Carlisle didn't lose a ton last year off of their team last year, and again we talked about it. They were really close on a lot of those games. There was just a play here or there, and I think that Coach Baker may make that difference on some of those games. But this will give them a good test, that's for sure. It'll be an exciting one. When we kind of briefly talked about, Kyle did, about new coaches, the Center and Jacksonville game, we'll have that one on NETSN. The Center guys will be over at the #1 stadium in the state of Texas, voted by Dave Campbell's, the Tomato Bowl. KO, what you've gotten to talk to coaches. What do you think about this matchup?
Listen, go. Sorry, I was
just gonna say, what are you expecting?
A matchup of two brand new coaches, right?
Right.
Coach Brown over in Center and Coach Stevenson over at Jacksonville. I didn't get to talk to Coach Brown this offseason, but I got to talk to Coach Stevenson and fell in love with the guy. So I think if I could suit up, I would suit up in a Jacksonville Indian uniform and run through a brick wall for him. Like, I was fired up after talking to Coach Stevenson. If you want to go see it, go to kltv.com and search for it. But I think it was a great conversation with him. I think it was the problem in Jacksonville has kind of been the same problem that we've talked about in other schools. It's been discipline. It hasn't been so much the athletes. It's been the kind of discipline around the entire program. And you hear the kids talk about it because we talked to them at Fall Sports Media Day. They brought it up that Coach Stevenson don't play that. Like, he makes sure you're on time and makes sure and holds you accountable and all this other stuff. And not to say that other coaches weren't doing it in the past in Jacksonville, but it seems like it's more of a something they're focused on. And I think that will really help the team. I'm excited to see what they can do. Center has had good squads with Coach Meeks down there. And so now Coach Brown coming in kind of inherits a really good football team. They did lose a bit last year, but again, they have athletes down in Center. So I think that's going to be a really good game. I think just because I talked to Coach Stevenson, I want Jacksonville to win because I want to see them be successful this year after talking to the coach. No, I don't know Coach Brown. I'm sure he's a great guy too, and I want him to do good things.
And if you really want to get to know Coach Brown, we have the Nick Brown show every Tuesday night. So it's like it came on about 30 minutes before we came on the air. So if you want to catch that show, you can go back and see what his thoughts are on the game this week. So any NETSN people that want to check that out. It's a great show and a lot of good stuff on Center athletics, but
it's exciting too, though, right? Like, it's exciting when you have these two programs have new life into the program, right? Like, even though Center wasn't down, they were a successful playoff team. You got Jacksonville, who has struggled for years, and it feels like there's new energy in Jacksonville. So I'm excited to see what that translates to on the field. And with Center, Coach Brown really just needs to kind of pick up where they've left off and build on that. So he's kind of got a head start, I would say, in the program. But yeah, I'm excited for that game. I think it's going to be a really good one.
Jared?
Yeah, I mean, just you talking about Coach Stevenson, and then I went and watched a couple other interviews that some of the local area news outlets have had with him. Yeah, he's definitely a guy that you can get behind real quick. It just takes a while to turn a ship, and one thing with Center is that they've kind of been known for just being explosive on offense the last several seasons, and so I just think it's going to be a tall order. It's going to be a lot of momentum to try and stop in week one, but I definitely think it's probably going to be a little bit more competitive than maybe that game has been.
All right, we've got a place where I'll be traveling. I've been traveling to Dallas Woodrow Wilson in Diggs Country, we call it, the DFW area, for White House and Dallas Woodrow Wilson Friday night. Man, I'm excited to see what White House has. I didn't get to go to the scrimmage, and I watched a little bit of it. And so I'm excited to see what White House can do. They kind of handily took care of business against Wilson last year, but going on the road, that road trip's a different thing. Travel 2 hours on the bus, go up to the DFW area and see if they can get a win. I think they can. They've got a lot to replace as well. They had some move outs, some graduation, so they're going to be a young team. So I'm excited to see what they do this week. Kyle, what do you think about White House and their chances of going on the road and getting the win there?
I think it's a good possibility. I'm picking White House. I think they'll win that game. I hear what you're saying about they have to replace some people, but also they were battered with injuries last year. They had probably Coach Westerberg mentioned it, that he is in his however many years of coaching, that's the most injuries he's ever had to deal with. So a very injury plagued season. They're healthy from what I understand, coming out of off season, so I think they'll be fine. And I think it's an imperative. I know it's football and you can only stay as healthy as you can, but if they can stay healthy, I think White House has a really good chance this year to make a run, but they have to stay healthy. And it starts week one with, executing and just making sure that you get out of there all in one piece with a win. But I think they will. I'm excited to see what the Wildcats do.
Jaron, you saw them the other night. What do you think about White House?
Man, I think I was most excited about their defense, right? And then you saw my change that.
Which Bulldogs is that, Jaron? Any
I'm just go Bulldogs, baby. And
so all the Bulldogs,
all the Bulldogs. But seriously though, and I know the guys that's covering White House for us this year, Josh and Chris, I got to meet with the coordinators, 2 new coordinators. They were really excited about their meeting with them and just really felt really good about the game plans that they were going to have or that they have. And then just seeing them the other night, their defense really flew to the ball really well, first and second string. And so I think that's something that's going to be pretty exciting to see is just the defensive effort for White House this year.
Jeremy?
Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting year for White House. I think, they're in a tough group there, right? I think they have a chance to sneak into that 4th spot. I think they take this win. I think traveling makes it a little bit more difficult. I think it was, I think it was a pretty easy, if I remember, I think they won it pretty well or pretty easily last year, excuse me. But I think this makes it a little bit tougher on the travel part. But I think they get the job done week one. And like you said, they're healthy. I think they need to get off to a good start in their favor. And again, these games don't necessarily matter in the district setting, but I think it matters so much here, right? They finished the year pretty well. They kind of got on a roll toward the end of the year. I think they won 3 of the last 4 or whatever it was. And so I think for them, if they can take that momentum from last year and roll it into this year, I think that makes them a dangerous squad. I think a team like that with some confidence and some ability is dangerous coming into it. They, in some ways they've got nothing to lose. They're picked to go 5th. Let's go shock the world, right? And so they've got some guys. JoJo Adams is kind of a do-it-all guy. He can catch, he can run. They've got some guys that can go. They've got players, and I think for them it's just putting it all together.
Okay, so our Saturday game, Jaron mentioned earlier, he'll be over there in Gladewater with Kyle's longtime compadre, Jeremy Titsworth. They'll be over there Saturday. And so, Jaron.
Take good care of him, Jaron.
Hey, man, I done stole him, man. That's my boy.
No.
So let's have a flaming table match
for the custody of Jeremy.
The best friend off.
We'll hang Jeremy from a belt thing up there.
I got some Jeremy on Thursday and Saturday. So it's,
well, I'll see him on Thursday too. So we'll ask him Thursday where he's staying.
So what do you think about the Big Sandy Winona matchup, Jeremy?
Yeah, so
Jack Murphy.
Yeah. I love going to Jack Murphy. I like that stadium because it's a lot of room. You can spread your elbows out a little bit, and they got a real nice kind of media set up on the end there. But yeah, I'm excited to see Big Sandy, one of the schools that we're covering exclusively this year, and our first year covering them full time. And, I think I'm excited to, I'm not doing every one of their games, but doing about half of them. And so I'm excited to see them. I got to, we had the team do their scrimmage the other day and watch some of that. But, Winona, we talked about them, in one of our preview shows, our small school preview show, that we feel like the pendulum's starting to turn. But I think Big Sandy's just got a little bit more in the deck. And so I do think Big Sandy's going to win that game.
KO?
Winona, again, at the media day, that was their thing that they were talking about as discipline. And they've been my case study these past few years of discipline, not discipline losing you games. Like, Winona has so much talent over there. The athleticism in Winona is off the charts, but they end up doing something all the time that costs them a game, whether it's a mental mistake or a hold here or offsides there. Like, it's something. But that was, again, a focus that they talked about. The kids talked about it. And that's what I think is most impressive. Sure, coaches will say it, right? Coaches will focus on that. But when the kids say it, that to me means it's hitting home and that the message is being received and that there is change and progress happening in Winona. So I'm excited to see what they can do this year and how they've improved. Big Sandy, though, will have a good squad this year. I think Big Sandy could sneak into the playoffs in a really tough district there. Love Coach Pullum. I think he is a fantastic guy. But yeah, I think Big Sandy wins it, but I do think Winona is more competitive this year. I really do.
Okay. All right. Well, Perrin Jeeples, can you see those at home that maybe say, well, I want to participate in the Pick'em game with y'all each week. How do I do that? Can you explain to them and tell them how much it costs too?
Yeah. So all you got to do is go to your app store, whether you're Google Play Store, App Store, whichever, and you type in NETSN, and there's this free app that you download. And
how much does it cost?
It's free. It's a free one.
Oh.
And Jared, if I'm looking for scores on Thursday or Friday night, can I find them there too?
Yeah, because here's the deal. We even got kind of, you talked and we listened. We heard that maybe the navigation was a little tough on the app, and so guys worked hard behind the scenes and made it a little prettier, a little easier to navigate. Look at that; it's good stuff there. And so you can see, like, I'm gonna try a little different. This is where all our live games will be, and we'll have like a ton of games this week.
Yeah.
I mean, we have at least 10 games this week. And I don't know, it's crazy, right?
Yeah, 10 games this first week.
That's where you can see all them at, all the scores from all over the state.
Show them how you can find if you're tracking a game score and it's one of our games, you can actually even watch it if you're just looking at it. Yeah, click on the scores. Show them how to do that.
Yeah. So you do that.
Find one of our games there. Where's one of our games?
Where's one of our games? All right here.
Yeah. Show them that. Now look at that button at the bottom. Oh, watch game. Right from there. So I can keep up with the score, and then if I want to, I see it's close, I can just pop in and watch it on NETSN.
Yeah, you can. And here's the other deal. We also need folks to help us populate these scores with the right scores. Don't put bad scores on there. Only put the right ones. But we can't be at every game, although we're going to be at 10 this week. We can't be at every game, so we definitely need help. This is kind of crowdsourcing at its best, right? And populating, because we've got some things that as you're watching one of our broadcasts, we also update you. We'll have a ticker on the top updating scores, and so, but we need those scores submitted. So yeah, it's just a great app, and it's free, and no subscription required. And so
a lot of that stuff also on our website, netsn.live. So if you have the computer up and you like to go that route as well, you can all the
you can go YouTube, right? I mean, we've got our YouTube where all of our games go live, and if you're a subscriber, hit that subscribe button. And the best part is when we go live, you'll know about it, right? When this show goes live, when any of our broadcasts, any of those things go live, you get a little notification on your phone so that you don't miss it. And then with that ticker across the top, man, if you want to split screen and you're watching one game and all of a sudden you pop up and you see it's fourth quarter and a tie game, you click over to the other game we're broadcasting, and boom, you got split screen.
Yeah, you can get them all on one screen. If you have a big enough screen, you can put one in the top left corner, top right, or if you have a setup like I do, you just put one on each TV. And not everybody has that, but But
something else, because and we say all the time, and we'll probably say it to where it's annoying, but that's okay. We can do that. That everything's free to you guys, right? Free to the viewers, free to the schools. But the only way that those are free is because we partner with businesses to advertise, and it's not too late. And again, we're Brett and I were talking about last night. We're due for a record year. When I started with NETSN last year, a year ago, we were at 3,300 subscribers, and this is not because of me; it's just because we've grown. But now we just crossed 7,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel.
Woo! 7,000. Yeah. Hey.
So,
and our goal is hopefully get to that 10,000 mark this year. That would be
awesome.
But
I think by the end of football season, because again, we are just like Brett said earlier, 79 schools, and here's the deal. We do it because we love supporting these athletes. We had the scrimmage we did the other day with White House. It was a Meet the Cats we did. We had a grandma comment on there and say that she got to see her grandson who is in band perform, and because she lives like 100 miles away and didn't get to travel. And so, that's why we do that, is to support these kids and their families. And so if you know of a business or you have a business that would like to partner with us, it's great exposure for your business. Our scrimmages, we did 7 scrimmages and got just over, and this was a few days ago, it's increased, now, but we were at 8,900 views for scrimmages, which is crazy. And so I think we've probably eclipsed 9,500 now, almost probably 10,000 views on our scrimmages. So anyways, we'd love to partner with your business. Email us at sales@netsn.live, and we'd love to help you out.
Well, I think the other thing, we talk about businesses. I think that, people know, right? People love to see what businesses in town support their teams, and it makes a difference, right? I'm looking at that going, oh, that they do. Okay, cool, right? And so when I'm thinking about where I want to go on Friday night out to eat, and I know that business, right? That's the cool thing about it. It's a partnership. You get to highlight these local teams, and then local teams get to repay the favor when they need you, right? And when they want to look for something. And so that's the cool thing too, is it is a partnership. It allows us to do what we do. And it allows people in different states or even countries watch their family members play because of businesses that are willing to sponsor and work with us and do that. So
I think Canada now is one of our favorites. We have a nice Canada following for the Brookhill Guard this year. They've got several Canadian players, and so we've
become the ESPN of Finland to the ESPN of Canada now.
Yeah, I think Mexico is too. Marcelo and his crew. Yeah. So we're worldwide.
Lithuania? We got some Lithuania folks.
Yeah, we're all over the place. But yeah, no, and to reiterate what they said. Again, these guys here, not just me. I just kind of give everybody what I'd like them to do. But these guys do all that legwork. I like to compensate them. If we're ever interested in sponsoring this show. If you'd like to sponsor our Beast and Niche show and be a sponsor on here, we'd love to have you, along with our broadcast and everything else that we do. It's a lot of work. We're not doing this to get rich. We'd like to make a little money for our time because, everything's so expensive these days. Everyone knows that. But it's really for the kids, for the communities, for those families. And, there's just some people that can't get out to the games. They'll never be able to see their family member play unless they're on NETSN or some kind of platform that way. And we've hopefully, we feel like we set the standard here in this area for, covering schools. There's not many out there that do what we do. And so pretty proud of it. And these guys, I've got one of the best teams that I ever asked for. And we're able to branch out and get different people that are, we got KO. He's, at this TV station, still does some stuff. Of course, Brandon comes over some, and we get some crossover from even Professor Diggs in the FW area. You get just a lot of guys that know a lot about high school sports. So we're not some guys just talking random nonsense. We sort of know what we're talking about sometimes. So that's what you'll get on Fridays and Thursday nights. You'll get high quality commentary for guys that know what they're talking about. We're not just out there. We're going to have a good time doing it too. And that's what's fun. And Jaron actually fixed his name back, but when Jaron came on last year, and he'll probably admit to it, Jaron, we had to get Jaron to open up a little bit. He was hardcore radio, like no nonsense Jaron. And the first couple of weeks he was with me, and I started throwing jokes at him. I don't know if he knew what he was getting into, but see, now you get a whole new side of Jaron. He's got all these personalities. He's got, here's Perrin Jeeples. We had evil Jaron going on the broadcast in a playoff game last year. If you don't know that, you go back and watch the Joaquin Ganado game. But we've got it's the thing. We have a lot of fun on Thursday and Friday nights. I mean, we're away from our families and we get to spend time being in your homes, just bringing you the action wherever we are and covering these kids. And it's just a lot of fun. And that's why we say we're the most entertaining sports broadcasting system. We like to have fun. I mean, it is. We know our stuff. We like to have fun too. And I think it's a big deal. And hopefully you can partner up with us and make a difference for student athletes. We continue to like to expand. And so if your school is one of those, and maybe we're covering a couple times this year, and you like what you see, reach out to us and maybe we can work something out for next year. Because again, we're always trying to expand and we love to do so, but it does take financial backing. So if we have the businesses to support it, we'd love to do it. Guys, kind of as we close out, some final thoughts about week one. Jaron, you go first.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be a great week. It's going to be a great season. Really am looking forward to it. Excited to see if the scrimmages are any indication. It's going to be a huge year. And again, this is for the athletes. I did also want to mention, I know I'm probably on a hit list, but Neptune Game Time did do a great documentary that's going to be coming out at 6 p.m. on Thursday. So in just a couple of days about Coach Surratt and just the dynasty there at Carthage. So please check that out. It's going to be very entertaining. I'm really excited to watch it. So yeah.
Jeremy?
Man, I'm excited. If you don't get fired up about this time of year, I'm not sure why you live in the state of Texas, right? I mean, it's just like you might as well move somewhere else because it's what it is, right? It's Friday Night Lights. It's the joy of high school athletics. And again, it's the band, it's the cheerleaders, right? It's the drill teams, it's the crowd, it's all those things that make football great. And we get to be a part of that. I'm excited to be a part of that. I'm excited for Brett and I are going to kind of be all over the place this year, which is super exciting. Get to see a lot of the stadiums in the area. And I'm just pumped for a great season. And week one is going to be straight fire, and it's going to get better as we go.
KO?
Sorry. I think I'm excited. Like Jeremy was saying, if you're not excited about this, then what are you doing? Why are you in Texas? Go move to North Dakota or something where they don't care about football as much, or Alaska where you can play on the shore next to the ocean. But no, I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be a great year. I think, I think East Texas brings home a state championship, maybe two. This year as well, so I'm excited to see all that. But I'm just excited to see these kids get back into action, man. It's been a long time. I love seeing these high school kids compete. You see the best and the worst sometimes, but you see the best of these athletes come out and see their competitive nature, and I just love to see it. So I'm excited.
Well, that's going to do it for this week's episode of Beast from the East. Good luck in all your pick'ems this week. Hopefully you either go with us or you don't, but one way or the other, we'll see what we come up with. And next week we'll be back. We'll talk about week one picks, and then we'll preview our week two picks right here on Beast from the East. For Jaron Peoples, Jeremy Diamond, Mr. Red Zone OT, KO Kyle Owens, I'm Mr. NETSN Brett Stoney signing off. We'll catch you next week right here on Beast from the East. Good luck this week to your teams and your pick'ems. Good night, everybody.
The Northeast Texas Sports Network is dedicated on delivering the most entertaining sports broadcasts in East Texas. And if you're interested in having your next sporting event streamed live, visit us online at netsn.live.